It all started one day when monsters appeared to wreak havoc in the city, causing a global crisis around the world. On a helicopter, a reporter announced that a tower had suddenly appeared, but no one knew what it was. This tower randomly selected people from all over the world and put them through a merciless ordeal. However, those who survived gained special abilities and became hunters. 12 years after the tower was cleared, monsters with gawk skills were on the street.
Yeah, boy.
Suddenly, they were defeated by a hunter. Just then, people took pictures of the hunter like he was MJ. He struck an awkward pose like he was holding a fart. The hunters had similar fame as pop stars, and later, they became the nation's power. This led to the formation of hunter guilds. A while later, a popular hunter show was on. The host interviewed the top guild leaders in Korea: Han from Goguryeo Guild, Yang from Orang's Guild, and Kim from Seoul's Guild. Some watched the show at home, and others watched it on the train after their 9-to-5 jobs. The host read the top question from its viewer, asking for the advanced player in the tower. They were puzzled by the question. The host asked if they knew who the advanced player was. Han was glad the player was alive. Yang added that he was the first hunter, while Kim revealed that the player had a curse that kept him in the tower. They announced that they saw him as the top hunter. The rumors revealed that the advanced player had maxed its basic abilities except magic. After clearing the tower for 12 years, there was no way he wouldn't awaken SSJ. It was said that the player completed the tower within a day. At the tower, some players ran, screaming for help like little girls. Only one man stood, while other players were blasted away. He was dripping with his Adidas slippers, and later confronted the 100th floor boss, Alok. He smirked knowing he was the top G. Meanwhile, someone was on his system, researching on how one could become an 8 or S rank. He was a B rank hunter who came across the advanced player a few years back. The hunter recalled how he soloed 3 werewolves at the 72nd floor. A hunter on their phone also recalled how the advanced player sent a monster from the 1st to the 10th floor. Suddenly, the player kicked Balak. He told the monster to call him daddy, while laughing like a deranged fool. After defeating Balak, he felt lonely. Soon later, it was known that the towers were the same around the world. As a result, hunters got information on how to clear it. It was on everyone's For You page. Meanwhile, countries had tower quest lessons for their citizens. With all the information they had, most players were still trash. Suddenly, a guy was on the floor. He gasped like he had just seen someone's huge junk. Alas, it was a monster with a massive aura. It was Balak. Balak gazed at him, and he couldn't help but wet himself. Suddenly, Balak received a flying dragon kick, which sent Balak's head rolling. The guy on the floor was frightened, and the advanced player claimed it was a piece of cake. Just then, a portal gate appeared. In the blink of an eye, the advanced player received a welcome message. This was the start of his 1,350th turn. A while later, he started tweaking and cursed the tower. He laid like a rag doll before checking his stats. He couldn't level up since he had cleared the tower. 12 years earlier, a group of hunters faced Balak and were able to defeat him. Some players were glad to go home, while others remained unfazed. The advanced player, Hyeon-woo, was thanked for his help, but he was glad to get the popular girl's digits. Suddenly, he got a welcome message and realized he was alone on the 1st floor. After that, he cleared the tower a bunch of times before noticing that he had been cursed. Hyeon-woo was furious at first, but later accepted his fate. From then, he soloed the tower and recorded it. Sooner, he was able to break stone pillars like it was nothing. After a while, he fell into despair, laughing like a maniac. He became bored and started cosplaying as NPCs to other players. He helped other players to clear the tower and watched them go home. 12 years later, Hyeon-woo was on the floor. Suddenly, he noticed that his curse had been lifted. He sat up, having found out that he could go home. He stared at the message and grinned. Later, he screamed like he just received backshots. He pulled Luffy's Gear Second pose and zoomed to the top of the tower. However, the hunter's show was still on. The host asked if the current hunters could clear the tower at record time. Suayem promoted world peace, while Kim and Han thought being top G was important. Meanwhile, on the 60th floor of the tower, a Cyclops was approaching. Suddenly, he got a sus-5. Hyeon-woo came flying like he just had post-nut clarity. At that point, he attained the Avatar state. The tower was blowing up, and there was a lot of commotion. Just then, there was an explosion, and Hyeon-woo arrived at the last floor. He met with Balak and smacked the life out of him. The tower began to explode. Suddenly, at the Korean Hunter Association, some people looked out the window. A portal gate appeared, and the supervisor was on a call. Just then, Hyun-woo came out of the gate and gazed at the blue sky. He was approached and congratulated for clearing the tower. He turned, still shocked to be outside the tower. The supervisor asked for his name, but Hyun-woo looked at him sus. He screamed and yelled out his name. The supervisor decided to check his name, but couldn't find it. He checked the boomers lists and found Hyun-woo's name. Just then, he realized Hyun-woo was the honored one. A week later, people were heading into a building. The host from the Hunters show announced the Hunter exams. Top individuals came to see the record-breaking group after clearing the tower within 2 weeks. She revealed that the advanced player was on site. At the VIP waiting room, Young met up with Han and Kim. They had heard the news about Hyun-woo, and Kim thought she would be seen as an old hag. Bun recalled Hyun-woo had been in the tower for 12 years and wondered how OP he would be. Meanwhile, the 18th group were geared up for the exams, but Hyun-woo decided to have a bag of chips. After finishing it, he burped, which angered the hunters. He asked about their gears and wondered if he dozed off. The hunters were prepared for the exams. Suddenly the gate opened and the players went out. The exam supervisor briefed them on the hunter exam and wished them luck. The supervisor told the hunters the world was watching, which made them nervous. He eased the tension, revealing that the exam was a walk in the park. Hyun-woo was at the backboard, with something sus on his lips. The supervisor took his phone and pressed the start button. The arena began to shake, and their first exam was revealed. It was a maze. He knew the exam was a piece of cake, but warned them of the traps. Just then, the countdown began for the start of the exam. The hunters were prepared and waited for the countdown to end. The exam started, and the hunters rushed into the maze. The supervisor liked how disciplined the hunters were and looked forward to the exams. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo approached the supervisor, but the supervisor didn't like his dumb face. He wanted to know if he could pass by exiting the maze. The supervisor pulled down his glasses, wondering why Hyun-woo looked like a sad hobo. Hyun-woo was acting cocky, which didn't sit right with the supervisor. He asked why Hyun-woo was acting like a homeless. Hyun-woo told him to direct his cockiness to someone else. This made the supervisor mad, so Hyun-woo suggested they make a bet that he could finish the exam in 20 seconds. The supervisor rejected it, but Hyun-woo taunted him. He agreed to the bet, and Hyun-woo rushed the maze. He took his time touching the wall, like some jugs. He was prepared to punch the wall and win the bet. The supervisor wondered what he was planning, so did the viewers. Suddenly, his hand was energized, and he broke down the maze with a punch. He reached the exit and acted smug. The viewers were in disbelief, so were Young, Kim, and Han. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo was glad he had just made $1,000,000 from the bet. Just then, he wondered if he would have to compensate for the damages. One day later, at the Hunter Evaluation Center, a man approached a lady asking about the advanced player. He knew Hyun-woo was out of his league and asked for any promising hunter he could groom. Later, he spotted one and was told he would show up the next day. Meanwhile, Lee had a lightsaber in his hand and faced a monster while others ran. He sliced and defeated the monster, awkwardly waiting to be praised like a little brat. He smirked, thinking he was the honored one. However, when Hyun-woo smashed through the tower alone, he realized he was just a fraud. Fortunately, he was able to go home. At the hunter exam, after the incident Hyun-woo caused, the hunters were told to head back. Meanwhile, reporters at the exams were shocked and wanted clear visuals on Hyun-woo. At the waiting room, Lee was pissed, while Hyun-woo was goofing off. Hyun-woo was trending, and Lee was hopeful he could show off during the next exam. Suddenly, an announcement was made that the exam would be restarted. Hyun-woo was drooling, while Lee saw it was his chance to flex. A while later, Lee unsheathed his sword, showing them who the God of Thunder was. The viewers were shocked to see him use magic, and was deemed a genius. Lee then sliced through the monsters. A few moments later, his time was up, and had achieved the highest rating in his group. He was glad he had impressed the hoes, while the viewers praised him. Soon after, Hyun-woo was next and looked bored. This made Lee gaze at him with rage. Meanwhile, the reporters looked forward to seeing his feats. Hyun-woo arrived, and the test was about to begin. Later, the monsters appeared, and the countdown began. Everyone was on their feet waiting for the test to start. Hyun was bored, but then the test began. Suddenly, the monster went for the attack, but he blitzed the goblin. The reporters gasped, but could barely see his movements. The goblins attacked at once, but then Hyun-woo defeated them one at a time. The reporters couldn't see Hyunwoo, but noticed the goblins were beheaded. Meanwhile, Hyun used his Sharingan before he could spot him. Hyunwoo approached the goblins like a delinquent and smashed their heads. He smirked, glad he was the head king. Hyun and the others were impressed, and he kept flexing on the goblins. A while later, his time was up, and he got the highest rating. Hyunwoo smirked, and his ugly face trended on social media. Lee was on his phone and was pissed he wasn't the one trending. He broke his phone, then screamed, realizing that he had to get a new phone. Disappointed Mehmet, Lee smashed the walls, pissed for not getting attention after all this hard work. From that day, he became Hyunwoo's #1 hater. Later, Hyunwoo was handed a list of people who wanted to meet him. The lady introduced herself as Alice and gave Hyunwoo her card. He was amazed by the design and briefed of the situation since he was away for 12 years. He was told of the benefits of being a hunter, but he was more concerned about what's for lunch. Suddenly, Alice asked why he was making an ugly face expression. He asked why she was trying to recruit him, and she realized her cover was blown. She had wanted to meet him and gave him a contract from a top guild. After a while, he read the contract and was shocked. Hyunwoo was expecting an offer of 10 billion won per quest. Alice asked what he thought of the offer. Hyunwoo asked if their currency became similar to the Zimbabwe dollars. She revealed it was so due to the monsters, and made a lot of things rise in value. She showed him her phone, revealing the value of his place. Hyunwoo was shocked his place was worth 1.3 billion won. After a while, she guaranteed that he could live like a rich Arabian prince with the offer. Alice claimed that the heiress group was willing to pay double after his contract expired. Hyunwoo was in disbelief, but she informed him that he would share the spoils of his raid. She told him the offer was in his favor, which seemed suspicious. Hyunwoo wanted to know what she would gain, and she revealed that she had connections to Ares Group. He knew what she was doing was against the law. She tried to persuade him, but he rejected the offer. Hyunwoo claimed that he didn't need to bend over for anyone. Alice thought he was joking, but surprisingly, the bastard was serious. Later in Hyunwoo's room, he knew if he had taken the offer, he would become their slave. He preferred to live a carefree life. Just then, he realized he was a sad loser. A while back, Hyunwoo was about to leave the room. He told her he was going to become a mercenary. She wondered what he could achieve alone, not knowing he was Sigma. She saw him as cocky, but he didn't care what she thought. Later, he realized he could have been slacking off, instead of participating in the exams. He was irritated, but then took the list of people who wanted to meet. He saw some familiar names and decided to meet up. 5 days later, at a restaurant, he was having sushi with Han and the others. He was surprised that the little kids in the tower were all grown up. He remembered how Kim clinged to him like a wuss. Young went full storm when he was about to diss her. Later, he decided to enjoy the sushi. They reminded him of the time he faced the merman in the tower. Back then, he grabbed a merman and wanted to make sushi out of it. They were glad Hyunwoo was doing fine after all those years. Afterwards, they informed him that he was famous, revealing that there were videos from the tower. At that moment, Hyunwoo knew he was cooked. He remembered when he cleared the tower naked and also cosplayed as Galks. Fortunately, the trending video of him was something else. He admitted to doing that, but they knew he was hiding something. In the tower, Hyunwoo once danced with his cringe move while facing a monster. Kim and Young watched Hyunwoo eating, worried he had lost it. Suddenly, he smiled, revealing that it was to escape the tower. He told them other crazy things he did, like blitzing through the tower from the first floor. Han was certain Hyunwoo had lost it. Hyunwoo told him he would do worse if he was also trapped. Just then, Hyunwoo remembered he had a student, which surprised Young. Back at the tower, there was a guy who was positioned for a backshot. He was approached by a sus-looking guy, claiming to guide him through the tower. Apparently, Hyunwoo was the sus guy. At the restaurant, he revealed that he had raised the guy as his student. Han didn't expect that from him, but Hyunwoo only wanted to roleplay a Manhwa character. They laughed since he had become a clown. He remembered how he trained his student hard, forcing him to do the impossible. He would also get mad at the student for being a wet noodle, and hoped he wouldn't get sued. Hyunwoo wanted to know what happened during the 12 years he was trapped. After his meeting, he was on his bed. From his stats, he realized he could level up. He was glad he had some cool cash, glad he could live a carefree life. Hyunwoo noticed something odd in his status window and tapped it. Surprisingly, there was more to the message, and he found a quest. Suddenly, someone knocked at his door. He opened it, and it was the guard. The guard informed him that the heiress group was looking for him. Hyun-woo didn't want to meet, but the guard was scared he would get swooped. Hyun-woo understood and decided to meet them. A few moments later, he met a dude with a bad haircut. Hyun-woo informed him he wasn't joining their group, but Mr. Bad Haircut handed his card instead. He introduced himself as Kang, threatening Hyun-woo to join. Hyun-woo made it clear that he wasn't going to bend over for him. Not Dong got mad, but Kang wondered why Hyun-woo was acting cocky. He informed Kang that his guild was trash. He remembered his meeting with Han and the others. They informed him that Ares monopolized 66% of Korean dungeons. They monetized the dungeon, which made it hard for noobs to thrive. Suddenly, Blockhead smashed the table, and Kang advised him to think carefully about it. Hyun-woo was caught off guard when Blockhead took the table and smashed it on the wall. He was informed that Blockhead was an A-rank hunter. Hyun-woo smirked, knowing he was just a piece of trash. Blockhead was infuriated. Hyun-woo then took out his slippers, ready to knock some senses into their heads. Blockhead clenched his teeth and was about to punch Hyun-woo. Unfortunately, he got slapped with the slippers and smashed to the wall. Kang wet himself a little after noticing Blockhead was one with the wall. Hyun-woo stood victorious with his slippers. A while back during the test, Kang watched Hyun-woo and was impressed. Kang knew he would act cocky after the test, so he had a plan. His plan was to use an A-rank hunter to make him bend over, but wasn't expecting his current situation. Kang immediately knew he was cooked. Hyun-woo approached him and pushed into the corner. Kang was scared, but Hyun-woo took his slippers and knocked some senses into him. Later that night, Hyun-woo met up with Kim and told him what happened. Kim warned him about Ares group, telling him how they off people who mess with them. Kim was concerned for him, since he acts like a dumbass. Kim suggested he join his guild, but Hyun-woo rejected. He was more interested in something else, which made Kim worried. Just then, he asked Kim if he knew the Institute of Adoran. A while back when Hyun-woo saw the hidden quest, he wanted to know why he was cursed. He also wondered who made the tower that trapped him for 12 years. Meanwhile, Kim asked why he was interested in the Institute of Adoran, but he dodged the question. The Institute of Adoran was a C-rank dungeon, which was a good dungeon for noobs. Kim informed him that the Ares Guild had claimed the dungeon. Hyun-woo blamed the government. Kim revealed that the government had no control over the hunters. Hyun-woo then reminded him of the murder, but Kim told him it would be deemed an accident. It was a mess, but Ares Group was a model company that paid their taxes. Hyun-woo then realized a top G wouldn't use the front door. He knew what he had to do, but Kim was worried. Kim warned him, knowing Ares Group would come for him. It was too late for Hyun-woo, since he had trashed their members. Later at Ares Group, the executives were having a meeting about expansion. Hugh, the branch manager of Ares Guild, was excited. He wanted the expansion to happen sooner, so he could make bank. The meeting ended, and Ha was given a document. It was the stats of Hyun-woo, and Hugh couldn't believe it. He knew Hyun-woo had skills, but didn't expect him to be stacked. Hugh felt the analysis machine was broken, but Yo thought differently. Hugh asked if he had recruited Hyun-woo, but was given the bad news. He told him not to recruit him. It was clear 2 Sigma male couldn't exist, and his position would be at risk. Hugh instructed Yo to deal with Hyun-woo, which he accepted. Later, someone ran towards Yo, informing him that the Institute of Adoran was invaded. Meanwhile, at the Institute of Adoran, a lady wanted to enter the dungeon, but was blocked. She begged them to let her in, but they denied her. She was told to leave since she was broke. Later, Fat Face decided to let her in, only if he got her digits. Hyun-woo arrived, and they wondered who he was. He was told to piss off, but he didn't listen to the loser. Fat Face got mad, but Hyun-woo approached him, wanting to make him crash out. Fat Face was confused and wondered if it was a clown skit. Since nothing was getting into his head, Hyun-woo then grabbed his slippers. They were dumbstruck, and Hyun-woo told Fat Face to come closer. Fat Face was furious, but before he could do anything, he was sent flying. His teammate looked back, only to see Fat Face was knocked out with the slippers. At that moment, he knew he was cooked. His teammate was humbled and obeyed Hyun-woo. He was told to remove his shoes but was hesitant. Hyun-woo threatened him, and he decided to give up his shoes. Hyun-woo was impressed with the shoe, but his victim was sad. Hyun-woo gave out his battered slippers and went into the dungeon. Meanwhile, at Seoul's guild, Yang was furious that Kim led Hyun-woo to the dungeon. Kim was tired of her and wondered if she was dating Hyun-woo. She was annoyed, but then he revealed that he had already warned Hyun-woo. He asked if she could have stopped him, but then she remembered she was weak. However, she didn't know Hyeon-woo had beef with Aries Guild. Kim knew Hyeon-woo was a good guy, but once he started hating, he would be the biggest hater. They were exhausted from acting like his parents. Just then, Hyeon-woo was in the dungeon, admiring his stolen shoes. Suddenly, Kim remembered his chat with Hyeon-woo. He told Yeong about Hyeon-woo's ability grade, which surprised her. Later at the dungeon, the C-rank boss appeared. In a corner, some hunters were hiding. They had planned on catching the boss, but then they knew they were cannon fodder. Masked Man boosted their morale, and they decided to hunt the boss. Just then, they spotted Hyeon-woo and wondered who he was. Hyeon-woo paused as the boss approached, speaking gibberish. Some years back, when Hyeon-woo was a kid, a man had told him not to cause trouble at the child center. Back then, he had lost his parents and was left at the child care center with his inheritance stolen. From that moment, whenever he had a hostile relationship, he made sure he was the biggest hater. Meanwhile, Hyeon-woo met up with the boss of the dungeon. It was hella sus, and Hyeon-woo wasn't interested. He smashed its head, and the hunters at the corner were left dumbstruck. Hyeon-woo defeated the boss while executing the main protagonist pose. After a while, he was notified that he had cleared the mission. While checking the system message, the hunters realized he was the advanced player. It was clear from his broke appearance. Just then, at the Aries Guild, Yo met up with Wo and gave him a file on Hyeon-woo. Wo couldn't believe his stats as he went through the document. He smirked, realizing he was a monster, and wanted to recruit him. However, he was told to deal with Hyeon-woo. Wo knew how much trouble he had caused, but knew how strong he was. He planned to finish him silently, while they focused on expanding to China. Yo wondered how things were going with the Pado Guild. The Pado Guild was a guild in China that monopolized 52% of China's dungeons. The guild was a big deal, with its executives having SSJ ability. The guild master, who was ranked 5th from the S rank around the world, was unidentified. Wo was sure he could handle Hyeon-woo. Later, Hyeon-woo was taking a selfie. He couldn't believe how advanced the smartphone was, but Kim couldn't relate. He took pictures of Kim, which was sus. Hyeon-woo was immersed in the phone like a little kid, which Kim didn't expect. Kim informed him that their guild was managing the dungeon he asked for. Hyeon-woo was playing with his phone when Kim revealed there was no boss monster currently. Hyeon-woo was shocked, and Kim explained that the bosses in dungeons were different from the tower. He told Hyeon-woo it took a month for a new boss to appear, which shocked him. Kim told him in their case they had just 2 to 3 days left. He asked for another dungeon, but Kim told him it was under the Aries Guild. Hyeon-woo didn't expect this much work and decided to slack off. When he heard he could make money from registering a rank, he jumped up. Kim told him how much he makes, and Hyeon-woo wanted to register a rank immediately. The next day, at the Hunter Association, Kim and Hyeon-woo arrived. Hyeon-woo registered his name, and the evaluator wondered if he was the advanced player. He wondered why people made a fuss about him when he looked mid. He instructed Hyeon-woo on what to do. The investigator's eye was the item used to grade hunters, which Hyeon-woo was given. The evaluator wondered what his rank would be. Just then, he was shocked with the results. Hyeon-woo asked if he was done, and was surprised to see him tweaking. Immediately, Hyeon-woo began to trend on every social media. Hyeon-woo checked through the comments. He was disturbed people already knew his rank when he just did it. Kim reminded him that he was more famous than MJ, especially the fact that he went against a top guild like Aries. Kim warned him that the Aries Guild had information about him, including his measurement. He told Hyeon-woo to be careful, but Hyeon-woo was distracted with his phone. He began to laugh, which annoyed Kim. Suddenly, he showed Kim his phone. He mocked a guy, posing like he was receiving backshots. He wondered how someone would be so cringe. Later, Kim revealed that he was the one he was mocking. Hyeon-woo thought he was joking, but Kim was serious. It became awkward, and Hyeon-woo tried to change the subject. He asked why he had so much free time, which annoyed Kim. He noticed that Young and Han were always busy, but he had free time. Kim told him he was also busy, but tried to make free time for him. Hyeon-woo felt honored. Meanwhile, at the Aries Guild, Yo was surprised Hyeon-woo was an A-rank hunter. Wo realized why the branch manager wanted to off him. Yo was deep in thought, but Wo didn't see the problem. He had hired someone to finish Hyeon-woo, and Yo was shocked he hired Shin, a soon-to-be S-rank hunter. Yo was skeptical, but became glad. Later that night, Kim and Hyeon-woo were at the Forest Village dungeon and were ready to raid the boss. Meanwhile, a stalker was behind them, keeping a close look. At the dungeon, Hyunwoo asked about the loser with them. He introduced himself as Gaiman, in charge of picking drops. Hyunwoo was confused, then Kim revealed that the drops were money. After hearing the value of the drops, he wondered what hunters used the money for. Kim paused, realizing Kim was too broke to understand. Drops were used in making armor and weapons. Gaiman sought permission to stream them, but Hyunwoo was a boomer. He was told they could make a lot of money from it. He accepted it, agreeing to take 80% of the money. Later, they walked deeper into the forest, and Kim handed him a map. After having a closer look, he knew what he had to do. He threw the map and went ahead. A few moments later, he approached a tree and told Gaiman to get his good side. Hyunwoo took his time and was ready to smash the tree. He punched the tree and created a pathway in the forest. Gaiman and Kim were in disbelief. At the end of the road, there was a monster, which was the boss of the dungeon. Kim was impressed, and Gaiman realized who the real daddy was. Hyunwoo told them to follow him, and Gaiman was happy to. He approached the monster. Before jumping on its shoulder, he kicked the monster and sent it to the afterlife. Gaiman was dazzled by the sight of Hyunwoo's aura and couldn't help but cry. Meanwhile, a mysterious guy was on the tree watching. Later at the Ares Guild, Wo had a meeting with the mysterious guy Shin. He admitted that Hyunwoo had unbelievable skills. However, he needed information on his weaknesses. Wo smirked and informed him that Hyunwoo was heading to one of their dungeons soon. Shin was happy with the information. The next day, at the Visible Swamp dungeon, Hyunwoo was alone, but could sense something was off. Just then, his phone rang. He took it and saw a message from Young, warning him about Ares Guild. A while back, Young asked Hyun why he planned to go to Ares' exclusive dungeon, but dodged the question. She pressed further, and he told her she would know later. It was clear he was doing it, to mess with the Ares Guild. Young was fed up with worrying like a single mom. She knew he had stacked sets of skills, however, she knew how dangerous the Ares Guild were. He was informed that the Visible Swamp was an A-rank dungeon, which the Ares Guild were going to raid soon. He was glad a popular chick was worried for him. However, he met with an Ares Guild member, even though he was told to avoid them. He wondered why they acted like clowns, and showed him the last teammate that tried to stop him. He wondered why losers never learn, and the member was furious. He rushed for the attack, but got swooping instead. He entered the dungeon, and the dungeon boss spotted him. He kept moving nonchalantly, and the monster tried to attack. Mid-battle, he remembered Yang told him how valuable the alligator's skin was. He smirked before punching the alligator. Hyunwoo wanted to finish up quickly, but the alligator ran. He chased the alligator and grabbed its tail. Hyunwoo decided to show the alligator his daddy. He swung the alligator before smashing it on the floor. Just then, the alligator went into rage mode, but Hyunwoo stood calmly. Shin smirked, and that was when the alligator jumped at Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo was glad he would finish up, but suddenly, he noticed he was trapped. The alligator was about to gobble him up, and Shin knew Hyunwoo was cooked. During the battle, Hyunwoo was able to evade the alligator just in time. He wondered how he got trapped, but then revealed himself. Hyunwoo thought it was a ghost, but unfortunately, it was an ugly dude. He wondered who he was, so he came down, revealing that he was sent by the Ares Guild. He wondered why they would send trash to assassinate him. Shin was impressed with his skills, however, he knew his magic chain would stop him. Hyunwoo tried to remove it, but realized it wasn't coming off. Shin informed him that he could only get out with mana. Unfortunately, he had 0 mana. Hyunwoo then asked if he was in a crisis, and Shin got angry. Shin then told him all his victims acted cocky before they met their demise. Hyunwoo didn't seem bothered, and this caused Shin to crash out. He took out his sword and struck Hyunwoo. It was blocked, but suddenly, Shin used an explosion attack. He smirked since he could only see a cloud of dust. Just then, Shin noticed Hyunwoo's ugly face was still intact. Hyunwoo asked what he was doing, and Shin knew he was cooked. Shin went for a second attack, but got a front row seat to Hyunwoo's fist. He was sent flying, and Hyunwoo approached him. He told him he should have wrapped his whole body with a magic chain. Shin knew it was impossible, but he didn't realize Hyunwoo had plot on his side. He kicked the tree Shin was on, and grabbed it. He hoped Shin was prepared to lose his life. However, Shin was mortified. The alligator was inside the river when suddenly it was smashed by the tree Shin was on. Hyunwoo watched the defeated alligator. He stood still, looking like an idiot, when suddenly he got a system message. He had completed the quest, and his stat was updated. Later at the Ares Guild, Wo heard of the bad news. He was told that Shin drowned and couldn't retrieve his corpse. Wo knew the alligators must have had him for lunch. He looked at Hyanwoo's stats and wondered how he defeated an S-rank hunter. Wo started tweaking and couldn't accept his failure. Later that night, Hyanwoo was on the couch, staring at the ceiling. Just then, he activated his stat window. He noticed it was updated and got an invitation from the system. Hyanwoo wasn't the brightest, so he didn't understand a thing. He then set a reminder for his invitation. Suddenly, Kim arrived and asked if he had dinner. Hyanwoo told him to stay still, so he could try out his new skill. He activated it, but most of the stats were locked. Hyanwoo was confused, but then he noticed he didn't have the authority. He was pissed with the useless skill and cursed at the system. Kim was surprised. Hyanwoo felt that way about him, and Hyanwoo tried to explain. Later that night, it was almost time for the invitation. Hyanwoo knew he had a trash skill, but it was clear there was an upgrade. He planned on getting answers from the system. It clocked midnight, and Hyanwoo was transported to another space. Hyanwoo was surprised, but then he spotted a girl sitting across the room. She greeted him and told him she was Eve, his assistant. Hyanwoo exchanged pleasantries and was glad he could get answers for being trapped in the tower. They stared at each other awkwardly. Hyanwoo wanted to hear her explanation, but she didn't know what he meant. He got furious, asking why he was invited. She couldn't answer his questions if he didn't ask. He realized he was an idiot, so he asked why he was trapped in the tower. Eve couldn't reveal the reason since he had lower authority. Hyanwoo got mad since the system made him look like a clown. He asked if he would get the answers with a higher authority. Eve couldn't reveal the reason since he had lower authority. Hyanwoo was about to crash out. He asked for information about the tower and got the same response. After a while, he punched her on the head since she was messing with him. He wondered why she invited him since she had no answer. It was clear she saw him as a clown, but she told him it was his fault. Hyanwoo continued smacking her, so she decided to tell him something. She told him that the Guardian was the defender. Hyanwoo lost his cool. Later, he calmed down and asked for any useful information she had. She had information on being a Guardian, which Hyanwoo wasn't happy about. Eve informed him that once he formally becomes a Guardian, he would have access to more information. He was excited, asking how he could become one. She told him there would be a crevasse that would open in town. Once he took the key from deep within it, his authority would be higher. That was how he could become a real Guardian. Later that night, Hyanwoo looked out the window. He noticed his stats had been upgraded, and the time remaining for the crevasse to appear. He was ready to sell his soul, so long he got answers. The next day, Kim and the others were out for lunch. He asked them about the crevasse, and they were shocked. Kim wondered why he asked, but Hyanwoo was confused. Kim told him the crevasse was the apocalypse. At Ares Guild, Hugh broke his table. He smirked like he was prepared to fondle some balls. He couldn't believe Shin lost to Hyanwoo, but couldn't blame his team. Wo apologized, but then Hugh ordered Yo to send their capable men after Hyanwoo. He was willing to burn his money as long as he could put Hyanwoo in the dirt. He hoped that Yo understood since he needed his men to face the Pato Guild. Hugh was pissed things weren't going his way and couldn't have it. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, Hyanwoo was overjoyed after finding out a ring was worth 2 billion won. Han told him it was normal within a maze. Hyanwoo asked for the difference between a maze and dungeon. He was informed that artifacts were found in mazes, while special items were found in dungeons for monsters. They told him the ring was an enchanted artifact, which was better than a regular artifact. Suddenly, a system message popped up, revealing the stats of the ring. He realized he could confirm its ability from his skill. He tried it out and saw a bunch of gibberish. He got pissed, not knowing what to do with his trash skill. He planned on going to the maze later. After giving Han the ring, he ordered the full menu. They knew he couldn't finish it, but he was confident he could. Just then, he asked about the crevasse, which shocked them. A while later, he found out the crevasse was a crack on Earth, with a never-ending flow of monsters. Young revealed that China and Germany had experienced it. Young ate his meat. He remembered what Eve said, but didn't expect it to be so serious. He asked them what they thought about it happening there, which ruined the mood. Ken was confident that they could stop a C-rank crevasse, but the place would be like Hiroshima. They knew Ares Guild would chicken out, but would claim the glory. Hyanwoo went hard on his meat and told them to take a break. They wondered what he was talking about, but he continued eating. Later at the airport, a lady turned, as she had thought there was an earthquake. Suddenly, the airport began to shake and a crack opened. There was panic at the airport. A while back, someone walked by and arrived at a round table. They passed information that the ninth tier had awakened. The person sitting at the table asked if it was completed, but it wasn't. He was informed that Hyun-woo would complete his task, and they couldn't wait to watch. Meanwhile, at the airport, everyone panicked. A helicopter came to report the situation. People around the airport were told to evacuate the area. The airport was shut down due to the monster coming out of the crevice. Later at the airport, hunters faced the monsters, while some went themselves from the side of the monster. The monster charged at them, and a hunter wished his mom would save him. His team leader warned him not to be intimidated and rushed to his rescue. After slicing the monster, the loser thanked his team leader, which made him mad. The team leader was overwhelmed by their numbers and hoped for a top guild assistance. He continued to fight, even though it looked pointless. Later, the strain began to wear in, and he realized their numbers were increasing. He heard a sus scream and looked back, only to find a giant skeleton monster approaching. The hunters fell into despair, realizing they were cooked. The skeleton monster attacked, and the team leader told them to run. Unfortunately, the hunter thought he could block it, but was sent flying. The team leader screamed as his teammates smashed a car. The skeleton monster approached the hunter, and the team leader knew he couldn't save him. Suddenly, Hyun-woo arrived and kicked the monster. The team leader was shocked. Meanwhile, the hunters could tell from his looks that he was the advanced player. At the airport, it looked like the apocalypse. Hyun-woo succeeded in defeating the skeleton monster. A system message popped up, and was given a time limit to complete his quest. Suddenly, he was approached by some meat-riding hunters. He wondered why they were glazing him when monsters were behind them. Hyun-woo was surprised with the number of monsters during the battle. Since Han and the others weren't around, he decided to help. Grabbed a huge club, and the hunters were shocked he could lift it. Hyun-woo jumped, and the team leader was left speechless. He rode the club before throwing it at the monsters. After completing the combo attack, the hunters were left dumbstruck. The team leader was confident they could win, since Hyun-woo was around. Unfortunately, Hyun-woo told them to handle the rest themselves. He ran into the airport, and the hunters knew they were cooked. A monster attacked, and the team leader blocked it. He was pissed Hyun-woo left. Meanwhile, the hunters were starting to struggle. There was no end to the monsters. The team leader realized they were exhausted, but decided to motivate them with an Irwin speech. Sadly, a monster was about to smash him from behind. Just then, a swordsman beheaded the monster. The team leader was glad to see Kim on the battlefield. The Seoul group arrived, and the hunters were glad. Suddenly, there was a lightning attack that caught the attention of the hunters. It was Young and her guild members. Her sim squad was overjoyed. Han and his guild members arrived, and the hunters knew they were saved. Young asked after Hyun-woo, and was told he went deeper into the airport. Kim didn't know why he was in a hurry, but they decided to catch up to him. At the airport, Young handled her balls with care. She used her lightning attacks on the monsters. Meanwhile, deep inside the airport, Hyun-woo had defeated a monster, and hoped the hunters were doing well. Hyun-woo realized he had to enter into the crevice. He was surprised there was a pathway for the monsters to come up. He was deep in thought before looking around. He then spotted a car. Hyun-woo pulled off the doors and ran towards the crevice. He jumped in like a maniac, and a goblin noticed him. He executed the main protagonist's entrance and rushed towards the monsters. The monsters were scared, but Hyun-woo rammed them off his path. After pushing a monster down the abyss, he realized the hole wasn't too deep. Sus dog meh meh. He threw the car doors and jumped into the hole. Fortunately, the defeated monsters broke his fall. He was at the bottom of the crevasse before spotting a monster with a massive aura approaching. It was the climber, with the key he was searching for. He ran towards the climber, ready to finish it in one blow. The climber dodged and kicked him. It was the first time someone countered him. Immediately, the climber was about to punch Hyun-woo. Hyun-woo evaded the punch, countering with a kick, and punched its face. The climber was on the floor before getting up and cursing at Hyun-woo. Hyun-woo didn't understand what it said, but it was clear they were nice words. He wanted to punch the climber, but it grabbed his hands. He tried with his second hand, but it was blocked. Hyun-woo was defenseless, so he received a massive jab. He was then used like a ball for soccer practice. He tried to catch his breath and realized the climber was a tough opponent. His internal organs were messed up, and he knew he had to use his hated attack. He stood up and declared his victory. The climber was confused, but then Hyeon-woo took his stance, ready for some whooping. A while back in the tower, Hyeon-woo was on the floor, regretting his life decision. Suddenly, he stood up and ran towards the monster, glad he found a way to escape. He had tried everything, so he practiced martial arts he saw from movies. He didn't care that he looked like an idiot, as long as it was his way out. He tried out his lethal moves, but ended up looking like a clown. He was sent flying. Later, he tried the same technique, and it finally worked. After clearing the tower countless times, his trash technique became stronger. It was a bad memory, but that was the only way he could escape an L. The climber ran towards him, and he yelled out his ultimate technique before punching him. The move was like a nuke. Hyeon-woo was glad no one was there to hear him yell out his technique like a Power Ranger. He was glad it was over, and he grabbed the key. A system message popped up, and was congratulated for completing the quest. He was glad he could get answers from Eve. Suddenly, he noticed there was a camera drone in the crevice. It was his first time seeing it. Meanwhile, at the Aries Guild, everyone were surprised with Hyeon-woo's ability. Hugh asked if that was an A-rank feat, and Alice informed him that wasn't the stats he gave him, although the official measurements stated he was a rank. Hugh started tweaking and couldn't believe Hyeon-woo was a rank. Alice knew she messed up. Hugh revealed that Hyeon-woo did it with a tracksuit, and it was clear Hyeon-woo was OP. He asked Yo if he had gotten the data he wanted, and Yo confirmed it. It was another way to take Hyeon-woo down. The next day, at the Hunter Association, a recognition service was held for stopping the crevice. Hyeon-woo, Young, and others were on stage. Meanwhile, Gaiman was streaming live, and glad he had a lot of viewers watching his stream. From his chat, people claimed Hyeon-woo was S-rank. Hyeon-woo was about to be handed his award by the head of the Hunter Association. After taking a look at his brokenness, he was offered new clothes, but he rejected the offer. The head of the Hunter Association found him rude. He took the award and was ready to leave. He left the event, and the head of the Hunter Association was fuming with anger. For Kim and the others, it was just another day. Meanwhile, at the Paddle Guild in China, a lady was having a steam bath. While watching the TV, she saw Hyeon-woo's stance and recognized it. Immediately, she came out of the bath and asked for his name. She was told who he was, and she ordered her assistant to get everything on him. Her assistant understood. Suddenly, a man came to report to the lady in the bath. He informed her that they succeeded in claiming all major dungeons in China. However, he had bad news, which was that Aries Guild had kidnapped one of their executives. She came out of the bath and was disappointed an executive got kidnapped by Aries Guild member. She claimed that the kidnapped member was on their own. She told them they needed to dominate all the guild quickly. It was all for her beloved Hyeon-woo. Meanwhile, Young made Hyeon-woo aware that he was a celebrity, and he was surprised. Han laughed, but Kim didn't see anything funny. Hyeon-woo couldn't believe that after 12 years, the news headline was still the same. Young wondered what he expected when he left after receiving his award. Kim revealed that his broke dressing was also cringe. Hyeon-woo didn't care since he would meet them again. Hyeon-woo decided to head out, and they wondered where he was off to. He told them he had a meeting, but they were sure he was a sad loner. Young was worried like she was his mom. Kim was also worried since he made enemies with Aries, and the press weren't friendly. Kim and Young couldn't believe he could be such a headache. Hoon told them not to worry since he wasn't a child. Meanwhile, Hyeon-woo was on the streets and was invited by the system. He arrived at the space and was greeted by Eve. He asked if his authority had risen, which she confirmed. She told him he had low-rank authority. Hyeon-woo fumed with anger since he had become a clown. She told him it was how the system taught her. He wanted to know what improved, but apparently only his title did. She told him he had to stop the climbers to receive what he desired. He asked about the climbers, and she told him they climbed the tower. Hyeon-woo had never heard of that in the tower, but Eve revealed that wasn't the tower she meant. She revealed that Earth was the 9th tier out of 12 tiers. Hyeon-woo was shocked. Eve told him he had to stop the climbers that reached the 9th tier. Hyeon-woo only wanted to know why he was trapped in the tower. He didn't expect it to be so complicated. She informed him that if he didn't stop the climbers, the 9th tier would be destroyed. He asked her if he should shut up and do what she said, and she agreed. Black Nat Geo laughing meh. She took it back, but Hyeon-woo was furious, wanting to know what she wanted from him. She was scared, but realized she had more authority. She was about to tell him what to do, but later chickened out. She revealed he was a guardian, as means to help him, and promised compensation. She told him the more climbers he defeats, the higher his authority. He then asked the rank needed to get info on the person that trapped him in the tower. She told him he needed the highest authority. He then asked the number of climbers he needed to defeat to reach the level, but it wasn't that easy. She told him climbers also had ranks. She assumed it could take 5 climbers to attain the highest authority. Later, she revealed that the Red Goblin was a low-rank climber. He smirked, realizing what he had to do. A while later, Hyeonwoo was in the library, looking at his stats. The information he got about Earth being inside the tower, and him saving it was too much. Since he wasn't bright, he decided not to think too much about it. His only goal was to find who trapped him, and all he needed to do was to defeat climbers to get the info. Suddenly, he got a call from Young. He answered the phone and was told it just got real. She told him to check the news. When he tuned in on the news, surprisingly he was accused of murdering an Ares member. He couldn't help but smile. Later that day, Hyeonwoo received a lot of phone calls and knew it was trouble. Young was worried, reminding Hyeonwoo that he was famous on a global scale. She had no clue what would happen with the murdered allegations. Hyeonwoo asked why she was worried like his mom. She got furious at his carefree behavior. He couldn't help but feel like he was being nagged by his wife. He asked if she made him worried, which she agreed to. He paused for a second and asked if she liked him. It caught her off guard. She decided to take a deep breath and let him have it. Hyeonwoo decided to back off before she pulled out his balls. Kim came in, showing Hyeonwoo the missed calls he got. Hyeonwoo was trending all over. Kim read an article of his murder allegations, which implicated Han and the others. Hyeonwoo looked at him with his ugly face, and Kim made it clear he was causing them trouble. Han told him to put off his phone. Then Hyeonwoo reminded him of this conference. Kim and Young wanted to know his plan. He wondered why they doubted a Sigma male like him. They hoped he wouldn't cause more problem. Han laughed, but Hyeonwoo felt violated. Meanwhile, at Ares Guild, Yo reported to Hu that everything went according to plan. Hu smirked, having proved he wasn't a fraud. They got information that Hyeonwoo was holding a conference, but felt the danger had been done. Hu was glad he threw the first punch. He thanked Hyeonwoo for his controversial behavior. Just then, he asked if the conference was live, and Yo told him everything was in place. At that moment, Hu felt like the final boss. A while later at the conference room, Hyeonwoo was seated, and the reporters questioned him. Everyone was glued to their screen. He informed them that he would do the conference his way. He was asked how he was feeling, and he told them he felt like a sack of balls. Everyone was caught off guard. He pointed at a reporter and was asked if the murder claims were true. He told them they were, which everyone didn't expect to hear. Hyeonwoo told them to judge him after listening to his reasons. He revealed that the Ares Guild had been on his neck after refusing their offer. He played the audio, which was the fight between him and Shin. From the audio, it was clear Ares Guild had sent an assassin. They listened to the audio and realized Hyeonwoo's life was threatened. He paused the video, and the reporters had some questions. They asked where he got the recorded file, and he revealed that it was when he tried to raid a boss. They asked if Ares Guild falsely accused them, but the audio file was enough proof. They asked if he could prove the genuinity of the audio file. He had been waiting for that question, so he brought out a phone. They asked what it was, and he told them it was his assassin's phone. The reporter was left dumbstruck. Hyeonwoo revealed that the phone was locked, but knew his innocence would be proven if he gave it to the cops. He asked what he should have done when his life was at risk, so he offed his assassin. He claimed that his assassin was slaughtered by an ambush of alligators. The reporter reminded him that he admitted to the murder claim. Hyeonwoo informed him that he would be alive if he didn't face him. The reporters took note of his negative claims against Ares Guild. After a while, he left the conference room. He smirked, knowing Ares Guild were cooked. Meanwhile, at Ares Guild, Yo was furious, since he didn't expect an audio file. It was clear they were cooked, and Yo was slowly losing his mind. He realized they were playing checkers while he played 4D chess. Later that night, at a restaurant, Kim and the others were shocked with the recorded file. Hyeonwoo then revealed that it was a lie. They were shocked, wondering if he lied about everything. He brought out the phone, revealing that it wasn't the assassin's, but the recorded file was real. Hyeonwoo told them he had been recording ever since they warned him of Ares Guild. Fact when he revealed was for Kim. Young was worried he would get caught, but Hyeonwoo knew Ares would try to get the phone. He planned to show them their daddy. Young was relieved, but realized she was a fool for worrying. He told them to eat, and wondered how Era's guild would react. Hyun-woo wasn't bothered, since they had more to lose than him. After dinner, Kim was about to get in his car, and Hyun-woo told him to go without him. Kim was confused, but Hyun-woo left. He left him alone, since he wasn't a child. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo walked past a dark alley. He didn't expect to be greeted by that many visitors. The Assassin's Creed asked Hyun-woo to follow them, but helped but laugh at the clowns. He asked who was looking for him, and they kept it anonymous. Hyun-woo then tried to instigate a fight, and was glad they had balls. He walked by, and the assassins were on guard. He grabbed a plant, and told them to come. They were confused, but then the assassin came forward and attacked. Before he could speak, he got a swoop with the plant. Just then, the assassins decided to attack all at once, but none penetrated him. The assassins couldn't make sense of the situation. Their attacks only tickled him, and he later showed them who their daddy was. After a while, they were all trembling. He grabbed an assassin who begged for his life. He told the assassin to guide him to their base. Later that night, outside an underground bunker, two assassins chatted about the bunker being made with dirty money. They didn't care since it was their means to put food on the table. The assassins chatted about Hyun-woo and couldn't wait to see his beat-up face. Suddenly, something landed in front of them. It was Hyun-woo and his guide. He asked if it was the right place, and the guide agreed. It took a minute for the two assassins to realize they were cooked. Inside the bunker, they wondered what was going on outside. Just then, something came falling from the elevator. There was an explosion, and everyone was on their guard. Hyun-woo walked out of the elevator and wondered how they could afford the bunker. They asked who he was, and he revealed that he was their daddy. Meanwhile, in a torture room, a lady was tired down and injured. Who told her to talk? He revealed that her guild had ditched her, so there was no point in being silent. He wanted inside information from her, but she wasn't a snitch. Hugh got furious and told them to torture her. The assassin revealed that she would lose her life, but Hugh didn't care. At that point, she was basically trash. Suddenly, something came barging in. It was Hyun-woo. He was surprised to see a chick. He was mad. He was invited when Hugh was seeing someone else. Hugh asked about his assassins, and Hyun-woo told him he took care of them. Hugh then asked if he wanted to talk or meet his maker. Hugh couldn't believe that all his subordinates couldn't handle Hyun-woo. Just then, an assassin tried to attack Hyun-woo, but he kicked the assassin to the floor. Hyun-woo mocked Hugh for treating his visitor aggressively. Hugh was deep in thought, knowing an A rank couldn't defeat his assassins. It was clear that Hyun-woo was a top S rank. He was in S rank, but had no chance against the honored one. Suddenly, Hyun-woo interrupted his daydreaming, asking if he wanted to talk or be sent to his maker. Hugh got pissed, but then remembered that he was a wuss. He decided to have the talk. After a while, they sat down, and Han knew he couldn't engage Hyun-woo carelessly. Hyun-woo then asked to be given his reward, and Hugh was confused. Hyun-woo asked for compensation for everything he had done against him. Hugh then asked what he wanted. Hyun-woo asked for 10 billion won and some beginner dungeons. Hyun slammed the table, knowing Hyun-woo wanted to rip him off. Hyun-woo was unfazed, knowing he deserved it. Paying the 10 billion won was no big deal, but the dungeon was a different case. Hyun-woo then added an extra 500 million won for time wasting. Hugh was pissed and asked why he was causing problems for Era's guild. He revealed that he could have accepted the offer if he needed money. Hugh tried to sweeten the deal so he could recruit Hyun-woo. He told him it was dumb making an enemy of a whole guild. Hyun-woo laughed since Hugh was a clown. He only cared about his compensation and didn't want to be involved in their shady business. He told Hugh his guild should be afraid of him, not the other way. Hugh felt his cockiness was over his head, but Hyun-woo wanted to know if he accepted his conditions. This made Hugh furious. Later in the night, Hyun-woo arrived home, and Kim wondered who was the girl on his back. At that time, there was a lost castle in sight. A suspicious character important to the plot walked by. After reaching the tower, he claimed he was heading to the ninth floor. The next morning, the tortured lady was resting, and Kim was surprised with what he got from Ares Guild. He wondered how he made Hugh bend over to his request. He asked why Hyun-woo brought the chick, but Hyun-woo revealed that he was curious about her. He told Kim it was personal, which made him curious. Unfortunately, Kim was busy, so he decided to leave. Later, the lady was sound asleep, but Hyun-woo was curious about her tattoo. It was similar to the mask he used in the tower. He knew it wasn't a coincidence, so he checked her stats. He couldn't find anything special and wondered if she was someone he forgot. Suddenly, he got a system message warning of a climber. Immediately, he was invited by the system. He arrived at the space and asked why Eve invited him. She told him the climber was coming, and he asked who he was. He asked for more info, but she brought out the message he had already seen. He hit her on the head, wondering why he was called when she had no information for him. She told him it was because his authority was low. Then he asked why he was called. She revealed that she had something to tell him, which he was waiting to hear. She told him the next climber was tough, and he needed to awaken mana to defeat him. He smirked, asking if it was a high-level climber. She told him that mana alone wouldn't stop a high-level climber, and if one arrived, the world was doomed. He asked where the crevice would happen, but Eve had no idea. She then gave him trashy information. Basically, a tough climber was coming, but there was no good information. He got furious, and she wondered why she kept smacking her. She mocked his parents for not giving him proper training. He revealed he lost his parents when he was young. She apologized for violating him, and he told her not to worry. At that moment, she became his fan. A while later, Hyanwu was at Young's place, trying to awaken his mana. Young told him to be careful, since her magic circle cost more than himself. Hyanwu was frightened he had no mana, but Young had never heard of such, although she had expected him to awaken mana with her current method. Kim arrived and wondered what they were up to. He was surprised Hyanwu hadn't awakened mana yet. Kim came to give Hyanwu his mail, and they wondered when he established a guild. Hyanwu told them he had dungeons, so he decided to establish a guild. Suddenly, he asked if the freeloading lady was awake. Sadly, she was enjoying her snooze. He wondered if she was already a corpse. He decided to wait, but then he was pissed he hadn't awakened mana yet. Young sighed, suggesting he had a mana injection. Kim thought of Nagasawa, but Hyanwu had no clue what they meant. They revealed that in Japan's Izanami Guild, there was a lady with a skill called Blood Degree. It allowed her to inject mana into hunters, allowing them to upgrade it normally. Hyanwu then looked her up and realized he had to go to Japan to meet her. He was annoyed, and he mistakenly cleaned the magic circle. Young lost it, and Hyanwu promised to pay back. Unfortunately, she had other plans. Meanwhile, in Japan, Nagakuwa watched as her guild members asked for help. Suddenly, a slash attack headed in her direction. She told her teammates to move, but they got caught in the attack. A man approached her with his sword. She asked who he was, and he couldn't stop talking. Later, he slashed her. Suddenly, Hyanwu got a warning message that a climber had reached the 9th floor. He was shocked the climber was in Japan and told them to start the car. Later, they were on the road, and Hyanwu saw the news about the situation in Japan. Kim asked why he suddenly wanted to go to Japan. He claimed he had business, but Kim told him he needed a passport. Hyanwu didn't know what to do, since he had to face the climber. In Japan, at the Hunter Association, a hunter was shocked to see Nakagawa. She revealed that she used an artifact to revive, telling him how strong the climber was. They told her they were cooked. Everyone had seen her defeat, so no hunter was willing to volunteer. As a result, there were casualties and they could do nothing but watch the show. On her screen, they noticed Hyanwu, which made Nakagawa surprised. He approached the climber like a top G. He tried to check the climber's stats, but got nothing. He asked if the climber got his drip from his grandma. Just then, he used a slash attack. Suddenly, Hyanwu appeared at his back, and the climber blocked the attack. Hyanwu told him that it wasn't polite to swing his sword at him. He told him his name was Chianma, before launching another attack. Hyanwu got excited, but knew he would kick the bucket if he got caught. He closed the distance so he would be at an advantage. He got a clean punch and tried to close the distance. However, Chianma got excited and had a power boost. Ken was watching the show and was told the crevasse appeared not too long. He remembered that when they landed, Hyanwu immediately left. Ken wondered if he knew where and when crevasse happened. Meanwhile, Hyanwu ran away from Chianma, dodging his attacks. He wondered why Chianma had such a skill, and Chianma started yapping about his sword. Chianma was about to launch an attack, and Hyanwu knew he had to avoid it. He wondered if he should fall back, but then he rushed forward. He grabbed Chianma and gave him a headbutt. Hyanwu had the upper hand, so he used his ultimate move on Chianma. He thought it was too much, but suddenly, Chianma had a power boost. At that moment, Chianma felt like the main protagonist. He acknowledged Hyanwu's strength and told him to block his next attack. Hyanwu tried to close the distance, but Chianma launched his attack. At the Hunter Association, they couldn't handle the suspense. Chiama cleared everything in his path, but Hyeon-woo was able to grab him. Though he didn't completely dodge the attack, the shock went through his body. Suddenly, he got a status message that he had awakened Mana. He went back, but Chiama prepared to attack. He acknowledged Chiama's ability, but it didn't scare him. Chiama wondered why he couldn't just accept the L, knowing he was the Sigma male. Hyeon-woo revealed he couldn't defeat him with his ability, so he decided to use Chiama's lightning. Chiama couldn't believe it. Back at the tower, Hyeon-woo had imitated martial arts he had seen in novels. As a result, he could copy Chiama's technique. Chiama attacked, but he was able to counter. Hyeon-woo smiled before using Chiama's attack against him. Chiama tried to dodge it, but got kicked. The attack caused an explosion, destroying everything on sight. Hyeon-woo was victorious. Suddenly, he got a system message that he had defeated Chiama. Later, he was invited by the system within a few days. Meanwhile, at the Pado Guild, the guildmaster watched how Hyeon-woo defeated Chiama. At that moment, she confirmed that Hyeon-woo was her master. Back at the tower, Pado's guildmaster was overpowered by cannon fodders. She knelt down and accepted her faith. Suddenly, she was saved by the man with the mask and became her master. She felt hot just thinking about him. Later, she asked her subordinates about the unclaimed dungeons, and they assured her it would be theirs within a month. She decided to join them so she could see her master sooner. A while later at the airport, Hyeon-woo was back in Korea and was ambushed by reporters. He told them not to worry, that Kim had all the answers. It took a while before Kim realized he was set up, and Hyeon-woo bailed. Hyeon-woo arrived home, glad Kim would handle the reporters. Just then, he noticed the girl with the tattoo was awake. Later, she thanked him for saving her life. Her name was Hongren, an executive of Pado Guild. He then asked about her tattoo. She revealed that it was a symbol for the executives, with a cringe meaning. Hyeon-woo felt cringe. She continued her explanation, but Hyeon-woo couldn't take it anymore. She asked what she did wrong, but he couldn't answer. Her words made him remember his cringe past in the tower. He was ashamed of himself. Back at the tower, he learned different martial arts and suffered from 2 terrible diseases. He did everything to escape, including cringe anime and novels. It hurt him that his dark past was being spread by his student. He regretted saving Hongren. Just then, he told her to tell her guildmaster not to look for him. A few days later, he sent her to China. The popular hunter show was live, and their guest was Hyeon-woo. Young was surprised and asked what Hyeon-woo was doing. Kim was recovering from his trauma, but was sure Hyeon-woo had more for him. At the live show, Hyeon announced that he was recruiting new members to his guild. This left Han and the others speechless. The next day, Hyeon-woo got a lot of applications, and Kim wasn't planning on helping. A while later, Hyeon-woo started his interview. He used his skill on a female applicant and peeked at her personality. He didn't know if it was good or bad, so he used it on the other applicants. Their personalities were good as pawns, so he accepted them. He looked for people who would do his work while he lived carefree. Later that day in Kim's car, Kim was shocked his interview ended barely within 2 hours. Hyeon-woo then revealed that he was interested in loyal members. Kim reminded him that their abilities mattered, but Hyeon-woo knew he was enough. Hyeon-woo didn't see an S rank in the interview. Unfortunately, S ranks were rarer than devil fruit. Hyeon-woo asked for Kim's placement on the top chart. He was the 163rd. Han was 175th, while Young was 161st. Hyeon-woo felt they were too low, but Kim revealed that the top 200 were highly recognized. Hyeon-woo realized they weren't dead weight. Hyeon-woo watched a video of the S rank of all time, but found some missing names. Kim told him they passed away. Hyeon-woo had thought S rank were invisible, but Kim informed him that they lost their lives looking for S-grade artifacts. All hunters had a limit to their rank, however, and an S-grade artifact could break the limit. Hyeon-woo then called the labyrinth the graveyard for S-rank hunters, although some got their S-grade artifacts from others by force. As a result, they were flagged as murderer hunters and removed from the official S-rank list. Hyeon-woo then realized the people Ares Guild sent after him were murderer hunters. Later, Hyeon-woo arrived at the Visible Swamp. He couldn't believe he owned the dungeon. He told Kim he could leave, since he wanted to look around. He went to the guard room, and the guards were shocked to see him. He wanted to knock some senses into them, but they begged for mercy. He told them the dungeon was his, and they reluctantly allowed him to enter. Within the dungeon, he met a shady dude. Hyeon-woo knew it had to be the Ares Guild, and the guy agreed. More members came, revealing themselves as murderer hunters called Pandemonium. Pandemonium was a name feared by others. It was a group of mercenaries who were hunters from the top 100 of the S rank. They were known for their 100% success rate in their assassinations. They were considered legend amongst murderer hunters. They had 4 members: Gunslinger Jack, Bloodline Azuo, Master Aisland, and Circler Anya. Any target of the Pandemonium never lived to tell the story. Kim asked Circler Anya if she was a skilled mage, and she felt insulted since she was the top mage. She was annoyed with how cocky he was and wanted to show him a lesson. She created a mana circle around Hyeonwoo and tied him up. Hyeonwoo was surprised she could draw mana circles, and she wondered if he was an idiot. He questioned her to know if she was useful to him. Circler Anya was frightened, but the Pandemonium members attacked. Meanwhile, China's Weiyan Guild was under attack. A hunter struggled to stand as he was approached by Padong's guildmaster. He knew he was done for, but banked on his higher-ups to avenge him. She laughed at the clown, and he got furious. He attacked, but she evaded it with ease. At that moment, he knew he was cooked. She was disappointed and decided to use Hyeonwoo's ultimate technique on him. She sang with joy, remembering the message Hyeonwoo sent. She misinterpreted his message, claiming she could only look for him after completing her vow. Her vow was to prepare a place for Hyeonwoo. Meanwhile, at Young's place, he brought Circler Anya to fix her magic circle. He asked if she could do it, and she answered like a loyal puppy. She begged for him to spare her life, but he told her he would think about it. Later, Anya worked on the magic circle, and Young was surprised to see Circler Anya. He revealed that he had all of her teammates. Young couldn't believe he took down the Pandemonium alone. It was clear his stat wasn't legend. Hyeonwoo also admitted it seemed weird. He wanted to ask Eve, but knew she was useless. He told Young not to worry about Anya, since she cared about her life. A while back, Anya begged for her life, and her stats showed she was survival-centered. He gave Anya's S-rank staff and robe to Young. He decided to head out. He went to the nearest store and bought some items. He planned on paying Ares Guild a visit. A few moments later, he arrived at Ares Guild. The guards blocked his way, so he picked up his toy hammer and wanted to see who. Hyeonwoo knocked out the guards with his toy hammer, and they couldn't believe it. He was glad they had the balls to block him. The reigning members went themselves. Meanwhile, Hugh received a phone call that Hyeonwoo was overwhelming them with the toy hammer. Hugh realized that Hyeonwoo had SSJ abilities. He knew if news spread that Ares Guild was defeated with a toy hammer, the rep was in the gutter. He wanted to call the main HQ, but realized his job would be at stake. Suddenly, Hyeonwoo barged into his office. He greeted him, but Ho was frozen. He smashed Hugh with a hammer and was sent flying. He couldn't believe he sent the Pandemonium, after paying compensation a while back. He wanted to speak back, but then realized he wasn't the main protagonist. He asked Hyeonwoo what he wanted as compensation, which made him happy. Hyeonwoo asked for 20 billion won, and Ho reluctantly agreed to it. He placed the toy hammer on Hugh's head, and he was sweating bullets. He told him he could send whomever he wanted after him, but he had to pay compensation first. He advised him to call the ambulance before his subordinates kicked the bucket. Hyeonwoo was enraged and vowed to end his life. His plan was to use the 5th-placed S rank from China to finish him off. Meanwhile, on the 8th floor, everything was in flames. A guy could barely stand, as he was scared of the chick on a centipede monster. She planned on taking his city, but the man begged for a rematch. She took a step, and the man tried to attack her. She continued her step, and he began to tear up. She went further and everything got destroyed. She was sad he lost quickly, so she decided to head to the next floor. Suddenly, Ares Guild was trending because of the 47 ambulances that arrived at their head office. Later, people found out that Hyeonwoo sent them to the hospital using a toy hammer. Kim arrived, asking Hyeonwoo about the incident in Ares Guild. Kim warned him that he could get locked up. Hyeonwoo didn't see that happening since he defended himself, plus he used a toy hammer. He told Kim not to worry. Suddenly, Hyeonwoo realized he was late for his lectures. Kim couldn't believe he accepted the lecture requested from Japan. Hyeonwoo was offered 50 million won, which he couldn't refuse. Later that day, Hyeonwoo received a warning that a climber was approaching. Immediately, he was invited by the system. Hyeonwoo was surprised the climbers came more frequently. He was in the middle of his lecture, but decided to continue. He told them to follow him, so they could catch monsters with their hands. After the lecture, he met up with Eve. He asked why climbers were coming more frequently, but she had no answers. His authority was a little bit higher, so she provided information about the climber. She informed him that the climber had comrades. Hyun-woo thought it was similar to the first climber, but was wrong. She revealed that the low-level climbers attract monsters, since it was cannon fodder. He wanted to know the level of the climber, and she revealed it was mid-tier. Hyun-woo was glad, knowing he could increase his authority if he defeated it. Later at Young's place, Hyun-woo kicked the door like a delinquent. Young was annoyed, wondering if he was on crack. He told her he came to see Anya. Anya was frightened, and told him she was almost done. Hyun-woo then asked her to draw a teleportation magic circle. Young was shocked she had that skill and didn't escape. Anya then explained that she couldn't activate the skill with her mana, and needed a magic circle to use it. She then realized she messed up. Suddenly, Hyun-woo received a system message that the climber was in Germany. Young wanted to know where he was going, and he told her Germany. Meanwhile, in Germany, hunters surrounded the climber and told her to surrender. She smirked, glad she found people with balls. The clown made her aware that the odds were against her. Meanwhile, the head of the Germany Hunter Association watched the show on screen. She wondered if their numbers made them confident, but was glad to fight fairly. She introduced herself as the god of chaos, which sent shivers down their spine. Just then, her centipede monster attacked. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo checked for a flight to Germany and told Anya to hurry. Young was on her phone, and suddenly, she informed Hyun-woo about the crevice in Germany. He was aware, since he was reading the same news. She asked if he was going to stop the crevice, and he told her he would. Young was surprised he was willing to help. Just then, he watched a video of the climber, claiming she would return if she was stopped within 24 hours. At the Germany Hunter Association, the head of the committee, Burgle, asked about the situation. They had ordered an evacuation, but there were a lot of casualties. Burgle asked about the hunters, but they were all exterminated. They had called for reinforcement, but none was reachable. Suddenly, the assistant got a phone call and found out Hyun-woo had arrived. Burgle was glad that someone was around to clean their ass. At the city, there was a beam of light, and Hyun-woo arrived. He was glad he could save money from flight. He was in front of a monster, which made a creaky sound. He jumped and kicked the monster. Hyun-woo wasn't expecting cannon fodder, as he defeated them with ease. He then asked the centipede monster where its child was. The drone camera caught the climber. Then suddenly, Hyun-woo arrived. She was glad someone finally had the balls to face. He asked why she was talking like an old hag. She was annoyed, but Hyun-woo continued instigating her. She wondered why Hyun-woo was acting cocky. She decided to finish him quickly. The climber revealed no one had survived past the 7th step, but Hyun-woo was clueless. She took her steps and suddenly his body felt weird. She went further and he realized her step was the problem. She continued her steps and Hyun-woo used his strongest attack to counter it. She reached the 7th step and he couldn't control his mana well. Even though it felt like his body was being crushed, he went forward. The climber acknowledged his strength and moved a few steps forward. Luckily, he kicked her on the face, although it had no effect. She entered the last stage and he was blasted to bits. Is this the end for Hyun-woo, or will Hyun-woo defeat the God of Chaos? That is it for this video. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for similar content. And as always, thanks for watching.